Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 93 on August 8th, 2018. I got it right this week because I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Siamese twins, Matthew Ross.
Last week, did you not get your name right?
I got a lot of things wrong last week.
Okay, just curious.
And Michael Aston.
Howdy, everybody.
What is going on, and how did you guys come to be conjoined at such a late period in your life?
Well, you know, we decided that we needed to do the surgery to join this together. We decided that we needed to do this in order to better, get into the market for circus carnies, because we feel like that's a growing market and it's something that we should probably get into. Also, we're joined together and we're thousands of miles away. It's really amazing.
It's the power of technology.
I didn't want to keep missing episodes. I've missed quite a few recently, and Matt doesn't miss episodes hardly ever, so if I was conjoined, I would miss less, yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like a plan. But I am glad to have both of you here, because nobody wants to watch me by myself, because the Poodle Show is kind of just a lot of me going, hello. I don't have anybody to yell or to nod while I yell.
The Poodle Show. That I could watch some Midnight Poodle. That'd be interesting.
If you find the old DCTV, there's some in the archive someplace.
Some Midnight Poodle, huh?
Yeah. Random BS.
Nice.
All right. Well, hey, since we're here and we've got a show to do, should we take a look at some news?
Sure. Let's start with this cool story about CBSN, which is, I believe, CBS News, is starting to make available for, starting off with just a couple of locations, but eventually many more, a streaming service available of just the CBS local news for the various local areas. They're starting off in New York City and LA, but they're going to be providing you the ability to watch your local news station and the news shows from the various daytime news programming and the actual local stations using a local app or using an app on your phone. So this is going to be coming out soon for lots of different devices. So hopefully
this is going to be baked into CBS All Access, right?
It looks like it might be a part of CBS All Access, but it looks like it's going to be baked into CBSNews.com or an app called CBSN, which apparently is already a thing. I have not seen that. Okay. I believe CBSN is the CBS News app, but there will be a local section that they were going to bake into it. So,
all right. Well, yeah. If you have a hankering for some local news and you are a CBSN user, and you happen to be in New York or LA, then congratulations. You got your wish. The rest of us are going,
meh.
I didn't know about CBSN, so.
What I think is good about this kind of thing is just providing additional ways for people to get their local news. It's one of the big things that you struggle with if you completely cut the cord, right? If you don't, you have at that point an option of getting an additional service like Sling or something like that, or doing over the air. And this lets you continue to get local news through this service. And so it seems like a good idea. It doesn't say anything about cost, so hopefully it kind of looked like it might be a service that is available for people in that market. Free, maybe?
And it'll be ad supported, but yes, I believe it's going to be free for anybody.
So I like it. It's good.
Rock on. What's up next?
Well, next we have a little story about Xfinity and Amazon. They've decided that they're going to put the Amazon Prime Video app right on your Xfinity X1 box. It's going to be coming soon. No date has been given, but this is basically an extension of the same thing that Netflix did by putting it right on their box before.
All right. Well, what do I say every time one of these stories comes up?
I think that's what you say.
Oh no, it's
That's what you say like 90% of the time.
That's just what I say about everything. No, it's Comcast and Amazon sitting in a tree. Yeah. Okay. I guess if you are an Xfinity customer and you enjoy the X1 box and you want more things on that X1 box, hooray! You are in luck. Happy days.
So, how long until you'll be watching everything through your Xfinity One box and not watching any Xfinity cable?
I think that the goal for Comcast is to provide a solution that is your everything, right? I mean, the problem that they have is that they're trying to get this added service to be of use to people so that people will stick with Comcast. And it's a relatively pointless service. Adding in features like Prime Video make it closer to what you get if you buy a Roku or something like that, and you have all of the functionality available there. And, it's still going to cost you way more than if you bought a Roku and Hulu and stuff like that. But hey, that's Comcast's business model.
Right.
Pay me a lot more for the same or less than you can get other places.
So I've seen the Xbox and the X1 and interface, and I've seen how it does the Netflix thing. What it does is it actually shows up like a channel in the guide. You'll actually be able to flip
like it does on Amazon, right?
On what?
Like if you use the Fire Stick, then
I don't have a Fire Stick, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, the Amazon ecosystem, Netflix shows up like a channel.
Right. Well, so that shows up like a channel that you'll be able to pick up just right. I mean, it's right in with the movie channels. So I suspect that they'll do the same thing with the Prime Video channel. And here's the thing: if you go to it in there and then you decide to leave out, you go back to the Xfinity interface and watching your cable. That's really what they want. They want you to.
Absolutely.
They know you're going to go. They just want to make sure you come back.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, if you are a Comcast lover and you enjoy using your X1 box, I know several people that are like, meh, it's good enough for me, and they'll be happy. So rock on.
Okay. Well, this next story is one of the bigger stories, if you ask me, this week. Fortnite has been doing this, it's a little game some people play and been making a little bit of money.
Do we know anybody that plays that game? I don't think we do.
Anyways, they've been coming out for practically every platform, and the last platform they really haven't hit yet is the Android ecosystem, and they decided they're not going to have it come out on the Play Store, which is the Google's walled garden. Instead, they've decided they wanted to make it so you're going to have to essentially sideload the app, which is going to a website, clicking a link, having Android pop up and say, you're trying to install something that isn't gone through the store, you sure you want to do this, and you allow it through, instead of going through the app. So I've got lots of thoughts on this, because and I want to talk about this before we move on. I have some things to say, but I want to hear what you guys think about this situation.
Well, other than the fact that this has nothing to do with VOD Squad. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean it does, because a lot of people utilize this in streaming and stuff like that. So it's tangentially related. I've never played Fortnite. It's something that interests me, but I'm afraid that if I started playing it, I would lose the rest of my life to it, because I'm a little bit obsessive. And so, but the biggest complaint I have about this isn't that they're foregoing the Play Store. I actually really love the idea that they're championing here, which is, to me, saying, hey, Google Play shouldn't have a monopoly on distribution for all of these phones. Let's by us having the power that we have, when we do this, we're encouraging other people to do it. Maybe it opens up other stores. I mean, there's already an Amazon store, an Amazon Underground, but very few people use it relative to the Play Store because you have to go in, you have to download it, and it does, like you said, it gives you warnings that this isn't an approved app and all that kind of stuff. But this game has the pull to convince people to do it. Like, they will go ahead and download it. So I think that's a lot of power and that it's a good choice. I'm just annoyed that they didn't do the same thing with the iOS, probably because it's almost impossible on the iPhone.
You're getting into the point I was going to make. When I first read this story, I was confused because they launched on iOS, and iOS is very strict that everything you do, we get 30%.
Right.
Every transaction, we get 30%. So I was confused as to why they drew the line with Google. You know, why are they okay with it with iOS but not with Google? And then I realized, light bulb, it's because on Android, they don't have to. It is perfectly acceptable and built in to sideload, whereas iOS, it is not. You can jailbreak or do crazy manipulation things to your phone that may or may not void the warranty,
Void
blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And people aren't going to do it most of the time. Whereas Android, which is one of the reasons I love Android, is because it's open. And you can do whatever you want. You don't need anybody's permission. You know, they have the warning when you sideload stuff just to cover their butts, saying, hey, you know, if you screw up your phone, we told you so. And yeah, absolutely. If I was in the same boat, I would do the same thing. And personally, I probably wouldn't launch on iOS for that same reason, you know. But that's me.
For like an indie developer, it's actually rather expensive to launch and difficult to launch on iOS as opposed to Google. It's far easier to get in the Google store, but you have a less generous audience, which is not to say that saying generous is misleading. People spend less money per user on the Play Store than they do on the Apple Store, but they still spend a pretty tremendous amount of money. So you still have a lot of user base, but per user, the Apple Store receives more money. So it is definitely a lucrative place. You know, it's like Imbeam said, you know, the Apple people are shelling out tons of money, though I don't think that's going to be different on the Google store. I think the Google people will shell out tons of money.
Fans will spend money on things that they get. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what store or what platform it's on. If people get, you know, value, they will put more money into it. I mean, I dropped like $20 in, I think it was in Fortnite on the PC though, so that I could get my pink fuzzy suit, and then I'm good. And but I don't play that game a whole lot either.
They got their money from you. They're happy.
They got $20 from me, and so. And I don't think I've played it since, but I will forever have that pink fuzzy suit with the big head that farts rainbows, and But
okay. Okay, so here's where I stand on this. Okay, I get it that the Epic, I believe it's Epic, right? The Epic wants to make as much money as they can from Fortnite because you know that 30% ding on them sucks. But they are living with it on the iOS side. Now I understand they don't really have a choice. I get that too, but it is something that they have decided that they're willing to do. So. I got a little bit of a come on, guys. I mean, why are you basically bending, you know, to the will of Apple, but not doing the nice thing of making it easy for people to find, easy for people to install on the on the Android side, and it doesn't cost you any. It's not going to make any difference on your bottom line, at least not as compared to iOS. Now, it does make a difference on the bottom line overall. Absolutely, I get that. Now, let's also look at it from the side of Google. Google and everybody, including iOS and everybody else, Steam, everybody, I think, charges way too much for the luxury of buying stuff inside your game.
I agree.
I think that Apple and Google and everybody should get 30% of the profits of the cost of the app. I don't see that problem. You're sharing the app, great. I think that they should maybe make a percentage of all the sales inside the game, but 30% of every single sale inside the game?
Yeah,
I mean, if when you get down to dollar purchases, that you're talking about 70 cents left, and then you're talking about all the transactions. Although supposedly Google handles a lot of that, but still, there's overhead there too. So that's kind of a problem too. I have. They should be fixing this. This should be something a little bit more like, hey, your in purchases are going to be a lot less than the outright. That would help fix this, true. And I think the whole industry should work on that. Last but not least, one more point I want to put in here is that Epic, the company with Fortnite, with this game that is so popular, it is so amazingly popular, that they retroactively decided to give money back to people using things. So no, Epic, no, you can't have it and eat your cake too. You can't be, here's your money back. No, we're making so much money, this is not a problem. And then say, well, guess what? We actually do want all the monies. You know what? We're going to screw over Google on the... I'm sorry, that right there pisses me off.
The
double standard.
I think that the way I read that was the opposite of what you're indicating. They initially have a marketplace in the game that third-party developers can sell in, right? And they were charging a significant fee or percentage to those developers. My understanding from the way I read that was that they have given back
the money that they had taken.
Money that they had taken previously to bring that percentage down.
Basically they said instead of the 20% or whatever they were charging you for whatever you make off of our Epic platform, our Epic game platform, we're going to bring that down to like 3%. And if in the last, ever since we ever offered it, we're going to give everybody any money that they would have gotten at 3% back to them. They're going to backpedal all that money,
right? Which
would have been millions of dollars. And the only reason they were able to do that is because, and they've said this, Fortnite was such a success.
Right.
So, if they could afford to do that, and they're already dealing with this 30% with another company that's extremely popular, totally get it. I mean, do they get 30% knocked off when they use the PlayStation or when they use the Switch? I don't know. Probably there's a percentage being dinged off there somewhere. It still seems like they're picking on one platform here.
Well, no, it's not that they're, and that's the thing. It's not that they're picking on Google. Now, if they were going out of their way and gaming the system and finding, through illegitimate means a way to avoid it, I might agree with you. But this is a valid option on the Android platform. It's designed into the platform that if you don't want to use the Play Store, you don't have to. And they chose to go that route, so I wouldn't hold that against them. And if it's not profitable, if they don't get the visibility and they don't get the play share that they want or market share that they want, then they'll probably go to the store where they are advertised and more easily, because even though you can do that on any Android phone, not everybody wants to do that. Because there is a possibility that you might download a counterfeit version that was written by like Michael or somebody, and not everybody's willing to take that risk. So, I'm willing to bet it will be in the Play Store at some point.
There's a couple of things I want to mention that I think are worth considering in your discussion. One of the challenges that these companies have, that Google and Apple have with their store. And I'm not saying that this completely absolves them for doing it this way. But the 30%, while that is, for games like Fortnite, it's ridiculous. Like, there's no excuse for them to be charging 30% for every single crate or whatever that goes through their system. Because after the initial onboarding of that software and stuff and the download and such, the traffic is relatively minimal. And so I would say that it's really ridiculous that they charge that 30%. But the challenge that they have is there's so many different models, and their argument would be that they're keeping the model simple for people that have different things. Because if I charge $1 for my game, right, and Apple does the reviews and they do the hosting and they monitor for security risks and viruses and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The $1, it takes a long time for them to recoup their investment at 30 cents per game. And if I don't do any in-store, in-app purchases, I just do that one-time dollar transaction, that's not going to make them very much money. On the other hand, if I charge $1 and I do in-app purchases, or if I don't even charge anything, I make it a free download and everything is in-app driven, then that 30% is the only way for them to recoup the expenses related to hosting my game and recommending my game and stuff like that. So it does. I mean, you also pay to get it reviewed and all that kind of stuff. So it does make a little bit of sense. But I feel like it would make way more sense if they had some sort of tiered structure or some sort of like different like app registration programs where it's like, my app is predominantly based on upfront purchase, so you should take a one-time fee, and then all of the other transactions are
options.
I should pay 5%, and you keep the difference between the credit card transaction fee of 3% and what I get. So you get 2% of every transaction going forward. That makes more sense. It's complicated. It's not just like a one-size-fits-all solution, which is what they've done. They've done a one-size-fits-all solution, and it shouldn't be. It should be more complicated, even though making things more complicated is seldom the answer. This is one of those cases where it is the right answer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring up Hearthstone, another game which is absolutely free, but there are in-app purchases. Mm-hmm. I believe that on the Android side that the costs of everything is the standard costs. I believe they charge extra on the iOS side in order to cover their costs for the 30%. Now, I don't know why that's true. That doesn't make any sense to me why it would be one way or the other. So,
yeah, what's the cut on the desktop version?
Nothing, because you're in their ecosystem.
Yeah, so they just pay the Visa card charge or whatever transaction fee they have for their merchant account, 2 or 3% or whatever.
Well, that's the same with Fortnite.
They get all the rest. And I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense that they have that same 30% flat fee all the time for everybody. It just feels like for companies like Epic, and yeah, I mean, they're making money hand over fist, but they are the ones who made this. It's their IP.
I know.
They should be making money hand over fist. Yeah. It's insane that Apple gets to make money hand over fist off of something that Fortnite did in and of themselves, and Apple really did nothing.
Yeah. And going back to like my point was, I'm all for a company. If your company, you get to decide how much you charge to do stuff, as long as it's a consensual relationship where I come to you and say, I want to do business with you, I choose to do business with you, and I accept that. With Apple, that's not the option. It's our way or the highway. You either consent to this and pay the fee, or you don't get on our platform. And that's why prefer the Google way is they say, hey, you can do this,
Right.
but you can go on the slower highway that, is people
Safer.
may not want to, it goes through the sketchy neighborhood where people may not want to travel.
Right.
But you at least you have that option as an app maker. You can decide, do I want, is that 30% cut, whether it's high or not, that's not really our call, because we're not the app makers. We're not making that decision, and we're not Google CEO or CIO, CFO, whoever's making those calls. Ultimately it's their decision, and that if it's too high, the market will show that. When people stop using the store, then they'll lower it. But as long as people are willing to do it,
I'd love to that point. I would love to see a company like Epic pull their game from Apple and say, "There's a lot of other places you can get our game. Play it
on the Switch."
else."
Well, that's the way it was before they launched it on Apple.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane because Apple is making, like I said, Apple's making money hand over fist off of Fortnite, and
they did absolutely no work.
Nothing. They host it. Like, that's insane. They do a service worth maybe 4%, and they're getting 30%.
Yeah.
And that's absolute insanity. I would love to see a company like Fortnite pull their game from Apple, watch Apple lose their
Apple just goes,
millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't impact the bottom line for a company like Apple.
And Apple knows it, the thing that would prevent Fortnite from using that is, since they've already launched it, they have a user base on that platform. If they pulled their game from that platform, they just basically slapped all their users in the face that were willing to go there and download the thing. Now I can't use it. No, I'm not playing it anywhere. That's the attitude I would have. So it would be worse for Epic than it would be for Apple. Apple says, "Oh, hey, we lost $1 million. I lost $1 million more than that in the couch."
Well, it's vastly more than $1 million, and it would matter to Apple, I think. But what I think the real problem is that while I'd love to see that happen, because I'd love to see a company snub Apple, it would be to your point, it would be catastrophic to those users that have spent money in the game and now can't play their game. Even if you offered to transfer the accounts or whatever, it still would be a slap in the face to those users, and that wouldn't be fair or right. But I would love to see somebody pull away from Apple. It would be better, I guess, if they just never went to Apple and they made it successful on every other platform and said, "Hey, Apple, you're being stupid with your closed platform and your tyrannical 30%. Screw you. We're never going to be on your platform."
Yeah, I mean, if they were the majority company that they claim to be, where everybody's using it and there's no competition, okay, run wild with your fees. But when you barely have 30%, is it worldwide?
Yeah, it's
barely,
like 30%,
barely.
something.
Yeah, they used to be like 25 battling with Microsoft to fill out that 30. But whatever. Epic.
This is interesting because it doesn't have to be video games. This could be any service.
Absolutely. This could be music. This could be ebook reader. It's any app that has in-store purchases or in-app purchases.
It's Amazon is not. Was it Amazon or one of the other services that's not on iPhone?
Well,
because of that.
They are, but you can't rent anything.
Yeah, you have to go to their actual site, and that was the point I was making to MBeam in the chat. Was yes, you could limit all purchases to the actual website, but people want the convenience. They want the convenience of buying it in app. They don't want to have to. It's like when I hate when I have to leave one thing to go do another thing. You know, as simple as pushing that stupid input button on my remote. I hate doing it because I'm in a thing, using a thing. Why do I need to go someplace else? And that's what people, that's a big turnoff.
What they should do, and I think that it seems like Apple and Amazon had a big ordeal about this, about the online payment and stuff. Mm-hmm. But what would be great is to, Epic could say, we'll give you a 30% discount if you buy on our website to add to your account in the online game. And then you could they wouldn't make more money, but Apple wouldn't get their cut. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That could be. So this is also interesting because of the Google recent decision that they are abusing their monopoly, and part of that discussion is the whole store thing, and that they have an app, and Google said, well, we might have to change how we do things if this is how we get things are going to be measured up against us, and how we're going to be attacked essentially. So this could end up being a huge deal, and this right here will be part of that discussion about how things move forward. So I'll be watching this very carefully.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, hey, let's move on to more news about Epic.
Yeah, no. This isn't Epic. This is Unreal. We think, the other guys. Nickelodeon is making a new show, and they're making it with a gaming engine. The show is going to be called, what is it? The Meet the Voxels, which is a game made completely in a gaming engine, where you're going to have these characters trying to be the main characters in their own franchises, or in some cases trying to be the main character hopefully trying to be in their franchise. So it seems like you're like your social mixer video game style cartoon. So, and it looks like that they're going to be using the Unreal Engine because they had used that in the past.
I'm actually surprised it took this long for this.
It's professional machinima.
Yeah, I mean, Unreal Engine is used for pretty much everything. So, yeah, rock on.
I guess it is the Epic's Unreal Engine. Mm-hmm. I guess it is Epic.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Unreal is a game.
Yeah,
Epic is the platform. But
and Unreal's the engine too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the engine that they used to make the game.
Unity's the one I'm thinking as the competitor, and that they're not Unity.
Yeah. No, Unreal Engine is named that because that's the engine that the game Unreal is built on, and it was built for. They figured out they could use it for other things. So, yeah, and I'll watch it.
I'll check it out. So, we have. Do you remember that trying to have your gaming PC in the cloud thing, and you're being
like
able
play
to
on?
on play or play on or whatever. I can't remember. Well, a company called Shadow, which I believe is based in France, is coming to the United States, in particular the East and West Coast lines, in order to provide a fully in-the-cloud system for you to rent and play with any bring-your-own-games solution you like, which means if you have an installer, you can install it on it and play these games with extremely high accuracy, high frame rates, as long as your connection is good enough and you're close enough to one of their server locations.
Did you notice what the kid was playing?
Yes, it's Fortnite.
So what kind of cut do they take from Fortnite?
It's on a piece of furniture. That furniture company should get a cut too.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a cut.
Yeah, if this works, then awesome. I know there are people that are trying to play these games with underpowered rigs, and if this will work,
it's $35 a month. And
I was going to say it's pretty steep. The one like the specifications sound pretty impressive. 144 hertz, 4K at 60 hertz. I mean, that is some solid video output for. Right. For some certain games. I mean, some games are really demanding, and to be able to get that kind of video quality output, that's pretty impressive. But $35 a month is a lot for
it
just
depends.
the streaming service.
It depends. If it's really good, and it may be a competitive price for some people, because I mean, you figure how much would it cost you to build a gaming rig to play most of these games?
Well, they say about $2,000.
Yeah.
They say it's virtual equivalent to a $2,000 gaming rig.
Mm-hmm. And so you figure, okay, $2,000, but have they taken into account that $100 graphics cards are now like $400 because of cryptocurrencies?
Well, that's largely corrected itself now. Has
it? I was looking the other day and I couldn't find a single affordable. But that's another topic. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, to some people, it will be worth it. Because, I mean, there are people that have a decent laptop and they will never have $2,000 all at one time to build that PC, or may not even have a place to put that PC. College students or people that are kind of couch surfing and traveling, and maybe if $35, it's worth it. So we'll have to see. Just like Movie Pass, we'll see what the market has to say, and if it's a good business model, it'll work. If it's not, it'll all shake out.
Yeah. The other thing I would ask, I would be curious, and forgive me if it said this in here, but what are the system requirements to utilize this? I mean, does it have to be run on a PC, or because they show, like, some of the videos look like they're using like tablets and stuff like that. So if I could use it on my tablet or on my Apple,
there's
my
two
Mac
different
laptop.
things. There's Shadow, which is, and then Blade, I think, is what's working on the small. It says Blade is on a small Shadow set-top box.
So
I don't know.
The Blade is a front end that they have because they know that so it does work on many different devices, anything from tablets and phones, and they actually are apparently working on a piece of hardware so you can plug it into your TV and use it like a console as well. The Blade is an interface that allows you to quickly launch games that instead of having to literally traverse a giant Windows on a giant 4K window on a tiny 5-inch screen, it makes it nice and easy to launch your games with this Blade interface. So,
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. The article doesn't specifically mention specs. I'm sure
need to
if you go to their website,
a good internet connection and be nearby.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that goes without saying. You're going to stream anything, you need a good internet connection, especially if you're playing remotely. This is basically VDI for video games.
Yep.
So yeah,
super cool. I honestly, if I think about it, $35 a month seems like a lot because I played WoW for $15 a month, and that used to be the standard MMO subscription. But when I used to upgrade my computer every single year to keep on top of the gaming systems, I spent $300 to $500 a year keeping my computer upgraded.
Yeah.
Some years way more than that. So $35 a month is only what,
you're looking at like
$450 a year.
Exactly. And that's the point I was getting at is, you can spend all the money to build a computer, but some people, that's the way they want to go. Some people, it doesn't make sense. And if they can, if it's a good enough product, I mean, you pay what? You've still got PlayStation View, right?
No, I canceled that a while ago.
Well, people that have PlayStation View are paying like close to $50 a month. This is essentially the same thing, just for video games.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you still got to buy the games, right? Like,
most of those games are free, like Fortnite. He's playing Fortnite; it's free.
Yeah, it's just point being that you still ought to have you're basically leasing a cloud server for your video games. You still have to buy your games if they cost money.
Yes.
And so that's why I feel like $35 might be expensive. But again, if you're the kind of person that would be trying to keep your PC up to date and run newer games in high quality. As long as they manage to keep up with that trend and keep their hardware running at that level, then that's actually pretty compelling, because I think you'd be hard pressed to keep up with the current technology at $35 a month.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, we'll see. The market has a way of sorting these things out.
It's proven successful in Europe, so there is enough people over there. We'll see if enough people over here are interested in doing it. So,
all right.
Speaking of global things, hey, yes, if you guys are into Overwatch League has announced for their next season that they've already got 2 new teams. They were going to go ahead and do one in Atlanta, Georgia, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, but Guangzhou, China, has also decided to make a team for Overwatch League.
Is it Gangshu?
It could be Gang Show. It could be Game Show.
I think it's
the Gong
Show.
Show. Gong Show.
I think we can just keep saying things, and eventually somebody will have said it right.
Guang Xiao.
Xiaomi. I know how to say Xiaomi, but they're not in this article. Yeah, I mean, I bought Overwatch pre-order when it was coming out, and I think I've played it 5 times since in the last 2 years. So,
but have you been watching the professionals play?
No, I haven't. I am aware that this exists. The article said that they're adding 2 new teams and potentially 6 more. Rock on. They've been saying esports is coming. There's been a guy running around doing his terrible I almost said Paul Reed Smith, but Paul what's his face English are coming. But Paul Revere. Doing a terrible Paul Revere impression saying esports is coming, but nobody's been listening. But this is actually proven to be fairly popular, extremely
popular, and there's not the only game. So,
although when you look at, I see these pictures a lot with you see that stadium and it's full.
Yeah.
How many of those people paid to be there? How many are paid to be there?
There's no way for you to tell.
Like when you watch a movie and there's a baseball game or some big sporting event in a movie, every single one of those people in the stands is paid to be there.
Yep. How likely is it that that's a iStock photo with the front of it?
There's no watermark. See, that's how you know it's not Shutterstock. There's no watermark.
Because nobody would actually pay for the photo to get the watermark removed. No, I'm sure it's relatively legit.
No, I have seen some of these events. I've caught them here and there, and when they're recording live and there is a big crowd, they've got, like, LA has a couple teams, and they've got a big stadium, and they've got, and was it Dallas, another one, but
there's so many.
Yeah, and hey, it's the new frontier. NFL's on its way out, which is very obvious. I give them maybe another 4 or 5 years before they self-destruct. But
I mean, the thing about esports that's compelling and interesting to me, and I don't really watch it just because I've got so many other things competing for my time. I've watched it in limited amounts in the past, but the thing that's compelling to me is there is so much going on in an esports event, and there's, not only do you get commentary in some cases, and you get feedback from some of the players, and you get the action of what's going on, and there's intense action relative to what you get in most sporting events. There's a lot of times a lot less downtime and stuff. So to me, I understand, like, to me, esports is far more compelling than a football game or a baseball game, where you don't hear what's being said on the field, you don't know what the people are doing, you rely purely on a commentary, and there's a pretty limited amount of action in any sporting event. But maybe basketball is a little bit less that way. But most sporting events, the vast majority of the time is occupied with in between action, right? Like a football game is 1 hour, right? 4 15-minute quarters, and it takes 4 hours to play. So maybe 3, but still, I mean, 2/3 of your time is occupied with stuff other than what you're there for.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, dude, I heard something about Avery Bullock. Do you know anything about this?
No,
What?
I don't know anything about Avery Bullock, not at all. Although there's this weird picture of him with a red shirt on that you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, so
Who's-
I don't know what the deal is with this, but why is Avery Bullock wearing a red sweater?
Who's
Well-
Avery Bullock? Okay, I'm missing the joke.
You guys don't watch American Dad.
No, we don't.
That's Patrick Stewart being the most Patrick Stewart amazing person he could ever be.
So Patrick Stewart has decided that he is going to be returning to the small screen in a new series for CBS All Access, starring as his old role of Captain Picard, where he is going to basically be 20 years after the end of where we left off with him in Nemesis. Unfortunately, we'll be picking back up, and apparently, according to Patrick, we're going to be seeing a different kind of Picard, not the same captain that we're used to. So
Is
we're
this
gonna
before he went on the road with Logan and lost control of his powers?
I
Did we
don't
get
know.
to find out how he ended up in the wheelchair?
Oh no! Well, no, we don't get to figure that out, unfortunately. Although that'd be cool too to have a nice little crossover. Anyways, when this got announced, my wife said, "Ah, crap! Now we're gonna have to buy CBS All Access."
Yeah, this is more compelling to you, at least in her mind, than or maybe it's more compelling to her than Discovery.
I've seen the first episode of Discovery because it was free on CBS. It was not enough to drag me in and make me pay any money for it. I now know that Discovery is going to be available on DVD and Blu-ray later on this year, so I will probably catch up on my season then.
Didn't everybody say that the first 4 episodes of Discovery kind of sucked, but was amazing after you watched the first 4 episodes?
I also heard people say that the Discovery was absolutely a train wreck because they've lost writers and had to change things all around a couple of times. So I don't know.
I think M-Beam has successfully named this episode "What Happens on the Holodeck Stays on the Holodeck," except for the fact that it's recorded someplace.
Well, we'll see. Remember, you're going to have to vote for one at the end of this, so maybe it'll be something else.
I don't have a lot to say about this because after watching Cord Killers, I feel like they said everything there was to say. The ideas that they came up with were genius, and you should watch that part of the episode. Sure.
I kind of hope it's like I kind of want to go along with the dementia thing. I'm imagining Picard on Red Dwarf, and Data is now at the ice machine or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many interesting things they could do. I suspect it will be more of a traditional, less gutsy, less edgy Star Trek show because that's what studios tend to do. But some of their ideas were rather clever and very interesting.
So what's interesting is that apparently CBS All Access, some of the executives have come out and said, we actually want to have a Star Trek show of some kind all the time, year-round, which basically means CBS All Access is going to be turning into the Star Trek channel, which part of me really makes me happy. So, because I really do like Star Trek, so we'll see.
Yeah.
This is going to be good stuff, guys.
M-Beam asked the question, how many kids does Worf have now, 20 years
just
later?
the one. And the one that
I would like to think, I think of Worf as he is the equivalent to the werewolf sidekick in Hotel Transylvania. So I'd like to imagine Worf's got like 30 kids like running around in a big pack, just like chewing and attacking everything. So
well, there's an episode where Worf's kid actually goes back in time and tries to save himself. Essentially, so I don't know.
So who's more hated, Wesley Crusher or Worf's kid?
Oh my God, that you could put a poll up, and I bet you it'd be pretty close.
I don't know much about either. I just know I didn't like either, from what I can remember.
They're both.
It's been a long time since I saw the Wesley Crusher episodes. I don't think I ever saw the Worf episodes, the Worf's kids episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
He was just a Klingon Wesley Crusher, from what I remember. They lost Wesley, so they had to replace him with the Klingon version. So, yeah, FX is doing stuff now.
FX Plus is a streaming service that they've actually allowed for some very specific streaming people out there. I believe it's been like the Viacom people and the people who are on a Comcast services, where they could go ahead and stream onto their devices FX, much of the FX lineup onto their various boxes because they already signed up with the service. Well, FX Plus has decided that they're going to open this up to pretty much all cable subscribers that provide FX, which makes me wonder if it'll be available for online streaming providers too.
Oh, it should be. Well, that because most of those, I know I was authenticating with the FX app using, I think, YouTube TV, or it was when we were testing one of them. So I know it has worked in the past. I do like the FX app in the fact that it has been one of my favorites. The FX app is the only reason I started watching, or I gave Lethal Weapon a chance. Was I was flipping through there because I was watching something else and I ran out of episodes, and they kept saying, "Hey, watch this Lethal Weapon thing," and then I started watching it on Hulu. But once I caught up, yeah. So it's a good app. It's actually kind of pretty if you've never used it before. Each channel is its own pane. So as you go over, it kind of rolls over, and then you've got all the shows for the channel you're on. You're on FX, FXX, and then it flips, and then Fox, and and yeah. So rock on.
I'll have to check it out.
More options.
Interesting.
So, Movies Anywhere is this cool little program that Disney started up with originally, the Disney Movies Anywhere, but they went ahead and expanded that to a whole bunch of other different movie studios that you could whenever you had a movie on one platform, the supported platforms, you could get the same movies on other platforms. You didn't have to buy the movies everywhere, which is cool. Microsoft was actually in the running, in the system to be in this program. But they kind of dropped off right at the last minute.
They were in it in the original incarnation. Then, Disney already had this thing,
right.
And then they opened it up and they changed it to be more all-encompassing, and
Warner
that's where
Brothers
Microsoft dropped out. And everybody said, "Why?" It didn't make any sense. They figured, "Oh, they'll be back." So the fact that they're back, it shouldn't be a surprise. But as was pointed out on Cord Killers, the announcement that said they were back mysteriously disappeared, which is the only reason this is really a story, is why did the announcement get pulled down?
Oh, it came back up. It
came back up, okay.
It is now official.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise
maybe somebody somewhere had to dot a T or cross an I.
There was probably, if I had to speculate, that Microsoft dropped out because there was some sort of conflict with an agreement that they currently had with a content provider, because another conflicting content provider joined the service. So they probably had to back out for a while till they could get that ironed out and then come back. But that's all in the minutia. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Glad they did it though.
Yeah, that's true. So, moving on, we have a cool little news story. If you guys are on an Android phone, Android P has a name, and it's
P?
not P anymore. And well, yes,
That's
you know,
a terrible
Android.
name.
Yeah, Android P was a pretty horrible name. It is now
Do
officially.
androids pee?
No, they have Pi. It is now officially
it's
Android
Pi.
So this is a big news for for Android people out there. They're excited to have the update.
This title is terrible because Android P is not for pie. I don't care how you spin it. You try to give me a pie with Android P in it, I will not eat it. Absolutely not. This is on the record. I will not eat that.
What's exciting for me is that this is the one where they worked a whole bunch on the back end in order to make it easy for third-party phone vendors to do an upgrade into this app version of the operating system. So I'm hoping, very much, that more than Pixel owners will have the Android Pie.
Hey, is that a P? Do you have Android P on your phone already?
Android P on it. Yep, it's Android P on my phone.
You might want to wash it or something.
Come on, somebody make that a title for tonight. So we know. But no, they've made it so it's a lot easier for the various customizations of different companies in order to put the undergoing operating system on their customized phone. So hopefully we will see a much bigger adoption rate of this operating system, which has been a problem for Android and for people still on ice cream sandwich who can't do stuff. I'm sorry for you guys.
Wait, who's still an ice cream sandwich?
Lots of people are. People with crap phones.
Well, that crap phone that came out 10 years ago.
Well, no, even there are still Android tablets coming out with 4.4,
What?
which is
Okay.
You can find.
People,
Go find it.
do not buy a tablet that has ice cream sandwich. It may sound appetizing. Ice cream
You'd rather
sandwiches
have
are great, but it's
Pie's better.
not 5-year-old ice cream sandwiches. I don't care how well they were frozen; they're still going to taste terrible.
Pie is one of the best foods, so I'm excited for Android Pie.
They need, but the problem is, if they're going to call it Pie, they should have put it out back in March.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
March 4th on Pi Day.
14th, but yes.
14th, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what version I'm on. I think I'm on O now, but
Yeah, well, and you have an LG, right?
yeah.
The V30.
Mm-hmm.
You will likely get it.
Oh yeah, because my phone came out in November. It's brand new, so I'll get an update. I was just looking to see if my phone was on O or if I got upgraded to O, but yeah.
Okay,
All right.
that's it. I just wanted to mention that since we often mention the cool updates that Apple gets, we don't get to talk about Android very much. All right, Movie Pass has been going through some changes. I wonder, I feel like we've talked about this at least a couple of times. Movie Pass has changed again, where they are no longer changing the price. For a minute, they said, "Oh, everything's going to be $15 a month," and they changed it again. Now they're just going to stay at $10 a month, where they're going to limit you to 3 movies a month. And there will be a thing called surge pricing. So
No, they just said they're getting rid of the surge pricing.
Yeah.
So
they
that's
simplified
why
the
the block out. They had announced a couple weeks ago that they were blacking out movies, and they instituted the surge pricing, which is why I haven't been able to see a movie since Ant-Man, and that was in July. And so, like many people like me said, screw this. I'm paying for a service I can't use, and canceled. And now they're saying, well, okay, we're gonna bring that back, get rid of the surge pricing, get rid of the blocks, but we're gonna go to the 3 month or 3 movies a month.
And if you get a 4th movie, it's only $5.
Yeah, not interested.
I mean, how many movies did you go see in a month?
It depended. When I could use it, I was seeing at least 1, maybe 2 a week. So minimum 4 movies. That's why. I mean, that's the only reason I saw the what was that Jackie Chan movie in England? Jackie Chan.
That
Conquers.
one looks so good.
The only reason I saw it was because I had Movie Pass and I wanted to get out of the house, and it was winter and it's cold outside, so I needed to go someplace warm that wasn't.
So you were not thinking it's worth paying $10 a month for 3 movies?
Right now, I'm coming up on a month that I haven't been able to use it. So
okay, well, you should be able to go now, though, right?
No, I've already canceled.
Yeah, this might be the end of Movie Pass. This might have been too much rocking of the boat for people, so we might be seeing Movie Pass pass on.
Ultimately, this is the sad thing about this is that if they came out initially and said it's going to be $10 or $15 a month or whatever it is, and I guess $20 a month, and you get 3 movies, people that go to the movies regularly would look at that and they would say, that's cheaper.
They already have that option, and it was $8 a month. So what they did was they got rid of the unlimited and then raised the price on the existing 3 movie plan.
Right, but what I'm saying is their initial plan was way like unlimited and all that stuff. People bought in with that in mind. And so the idea that they are changing, they're changing from something that sounds too good to be true, because it was, to something that sounds like a good deal for some people. Those people that it would be a good deal for probably would have been happy to go with it down the road. But now all those people have already signed up because they had a more amazing deal than this, and they feel stung because now they're getting, a decent deal.
Right.
Because, for me here, I don't go see a movie that it costs less than $10 a movie, right? So if I can pay $20 a month and see 3 movies a month, that's a good deal to me. I don't see 3 movies a month in the theater because I don't want to go to the theater that often. I only want to see a few movies a year in theater because they've got to be special movies before I'm willing to go to a theater. I'd rather watch in my home.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is, I seriously dislike theaters in general and the people that are in theaters, and so the fact that I was going was a testament to what MoviePass was doing.
right.
When you limit it, when you limit it down to 3, it's not worth it for me because number 1, I don't really want to be there. Number 2, if I had been on the 3 movie plan with when I went and saw Jurassic Park, I would have been extremely pissed when I got up and walked out because I wasted one of my movies on that thing that I couldn't even sit through. But that's what I loved about the unlimited plan was it was like, oh, you get 10 minutes into a movie, this sucks, I'm out, and you're out, and you don't feel that those pains that you feel when you're actually paying for it out of pocket. I mean, ever since they launched, people keep asking me, how do they make money? And my stock answer is, they don't.
Right.
They don't. I mean, they're trying to figure it out. They're going to try lots of different things. But as it stands, they don't. Well, how are they going to last? And the answer is, if they can't figure it out, they won't.
Yeah, like I said, if they hadn't made that mistake, I think that there are still opportunities for them. And my concern is that they've already shot themselves in the foot. I would be interested in a similar service that was a little less expensive and gave me, say, 1 movie a month. Because, where maybe even broke even. So I didn't save money, but didn't gain money, but got discounts in addition to that, like 10% off concessions or something. And what would be really cool is if they had partnerships with the theaters, so the theaters could offer like reverse surge pricing, and say nobody is currently at Jurassic Park because it sucks, but we'll let you all come see it for $3.
Yeah. Well, and that's what they wanted to do. They were hoping they would get these partnerships with the theaters. They had that initial backlash from AMC. There are some theaters that they do have partnerships with, and they're usually the small art house cinema kind of places, because, I mean, they don't really have anybody else coming knocking down their doors, so... But I think I believe the larger chains have been mostly resistant, and I don't know why, because it from my point of view, it's always been a great deal for the theaters, because they're getting people like me that never go to come in on a regular basis and spend money on concessions.
Yeah,
right.
You should be beating down MoviePass's door saying, "Hey, we'll give you, a little bit better deal if you partner with us." And
that's right.
And I think, and I'm sure that's what MoviePass was hoping. But yeah.
So Michael, what the kind of plan you're talking about? It already exists, and I've been thinking about it. It's called Cinemark's Cinepass, and I only go to Cinemark here
if you have a Cinemark in your area.
Right.
I haven't seen a Cinemark in...
There are Cinemarks here, and that's pretty popular. I haven't looked into it.
So, but it's for $8 a month, you get one movie per month, and they roll over. So if you don't use it, you get to use it again next month. You can also bring a friend and get them the discount pricing as well. And your concessions are 20% off. And usually they charge a fee for you to do like online booking of your place, and they waive the fees.
You don't have to pay that. So that sounds pretty compelling. My only real complaint is that when I go see movies in the theater, I choose. There's two ways I choose. I choose Alamo Drafthouse,
or something else.
That's where I go 90% of the time. Or if I can't get to Alamo Drafthouse because I wasn't on the ball enough to book a good seat on the weekend, like opening weekend. If I wanted to see like Star Wars opening weekend, then I go wherever I can find a good seat still available at a time that I want to go see or that works for me. So, but I would say I'm very movie theater loyal just because I absolutely love the Draft House. And I like to go there, and I spend a lot of money when I go because I get food and I make a night of it. But and that's why for me, like, the price isn't as compelling of an issue. If I could save a little bit of money, especially on like the food when I get there and stuff like that, that would be interesting to me. And like I said, if they would just let me know, hey, the theater's empty for Ant-Man and the Wasp because despite the fact that it's a great movie, nobody's coming to see it. Come and see it for half price right now or tonight at 8 p.m. I would totally have gone and seen it a second time.
I don't remember. Don't remember if I mentioned it, but that was literally the last movie I was able to see was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
and it was amazing. It was an absolutely fun movie, totally worth it. I may not have ever seen the first Ant-Man. Oh wait, no, I saw the first Ant-Man in the dollar theater, so never mind. I didn't have MoviePass at that time, but yeah. All right. Well, we're getting short on time, so we should move quickly through the rest of these. We only have
a couple more stories, so let's go ahead and save this one here, which is Microsoft has gotten some feedback about Skype. And
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I mean, it's something like it's responding poorly, and it doesn't work as well, and it's harder to do podcasts on.
It forces two people to be in the same screen?
Yeah.
Almost like Siamese twins?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Don't do the face thing. Don't do the face thing. Don't do the face thing. Don't do it.
Microsoft says they're going to go ahead and allow you to keep using classic Skype. They were going to force you to upgrade, I believe, in September, And now they're saying version 7.0 can stick around for a little while longer.
Well, they're basically doing what they did with XP, except they let XP stick around for way too long, and it became a liability. So I don't think they're going to make that mistake again. So even though they're letting it stick around for a little while, I don't know. I wouldn't bank on how much longer.
Well,
this kind of thing drives me absolutely crazy. As a software developer myself, when I see things like this, it makes me want to scream at people. They have a piece of software that people love. They release a new version that people absolutely hate, and their solution is to keep that one around just a little bit longer instead of incorporating the suggestions and the things, repairing the mistakes they made in the new version. It's infuriating. User experience should be your number one priority when you're making software. Period.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe they will fix it. Maybe they
Says
won't.
the man that is demonstrating one of the main problems with the current Skype. So, yeah.
So there's going to be a new channel available on your Roku. It's going to be called a free sci-fi streaming channel called Dust X. It's by the companies Gunpowder and Sky, which apparently they've done a couple of other shows out there.
Well, already I'm excited and want to watch this. Gunpowder and Sky and Dust X. That is some intense naming.
You know,
Yes, it
and
is.
I saw this and I was a little bit giddy. I went, I can't wait to try this out. I mean, it's a Roku channel. It's going to be free, ad supported. I mean, they already have, I think it said something like 200 short films that Gunpowder and Sky has done. They've got agreements with like the Mystery Science Theater 3000, the original Michael Crichton movie Westworld, some Philip K. Dick stuff like a Scanner Darkly, Paycheck. They're just it's just good if you like sci-fi and you just want to be able to turn on sci-fi and just let it play, and you have a Roku. There is absolutely no reason to not try this out.
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Also, Dust X sounds like a new designer drug, like powdered ecstasy
I mean,
or
is it
something
X?
like that.
Because what does that mean in math when it's up there, up at the top?
To the
It's
power of X.
The power of, yeah.
So it wouldn't be Dust X, right? It would be Dust Power. I don't know.
Just to
Dust
the
to
power
the
of
power
X.
X.
Yeah.
That just rolls right off the tongue.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was a Y. I was like, why would they
Dusty.
make Dusty? But why is the Y so small? But I was looking at it on a laptop. But yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Man.
AT&T is bought a company called Otter Media, and you may think Otter Media. I don't know who those guys. Well,
Hey,
you
they
may
make
know.
those cases for cell phones, right?
Yeah, Otter Media. They make those the
Boxes.
cases that are just absolutely impossible for you to open up and clean your phone with.
They defeat
No,
the
they're-
purpose of having a thin, sleek phone.
Yes, it
Make
does.
make
but your
everything
phone
look
be
like 5 years old.
Your phone will be okay inside of it, though. That's okay. But you may know them more about the fact that they actually are the guys behind Crunchyroll and VRV and
Verve.
the Rooster Teeth app on different devices. So AT&T has just purchased those guys. They're
I'm
going-
kind of excited about this, and I hate to say that because anytime I say I'm excited about something, it goes to hell, as we've demonstrated many times before. But
Yep.
I'm kind of hoping they give this the same treatment they did with DirecTV Now, and or HBO.
Oh, they'll give it to you for free with your absolutely.
I didn't
unlimited
say
plan.
it. You said it. I'm kind of hopeful because I've been interested in Crunchyroll, but not enough that I had been willing to subscribe to Crunchyroll up to this point. So
I have some friends who subscribe to Crunchyroll, and they just love watching all the anime.
And I do love the Rooster Teeth stuff. Red versus Blue was great, and what's Ruby? I love Ruby, but RWBY. But yeah, talking about making cartoons using video game engines. Yeah, so rock on. I think this could be good.
All right, last story. YouTube TV is getting access to the Sinclair networks and CW channels in select markets, and you should be seeing it being added to your YouTube TV's section as we speak. You might already have it. I'm curious now. I'm going to find out. I've got you.
Yeah, I didn't check this. Honestly, I have been very happy with the CW app on the Roku. It's free. And, I mean, yeah, it's commercial supported. I guess the one benefit of it being on YouTube TV is you can throw it in the DVR and potentially fast forward through the commercials. But, yeah, so if you have YouTube TV, rock on, and you like CW, you may be in luck. If you don't have YouTube TV, you'll just have to continue using the CW app. Not CW Seed. Don't make that mistake. CW Seed is a completely different thing.
And I just checked out. I've got CW11 in the Olympia area. So there we go.
There you go. I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, Justin, and they do it now, and iZombie season is done. So I'll be checking back in like 6 months or so.
All right, and that is the end of our news for this week.
All right, hey, we should check in with the big voice Jay.
Ooh, yeah.
Welcome to your BT Movie Draft Minute presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of August 6, 2018. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. My legs are so sore from the gym that I almost didn't make it to the donut shop. Almost. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Walking Drunk is in last place with $358.1 million. Team Game Night is in fifth place with $455.1 million. Team Retro Misery is in fourth place thanks to Mission Impossible Fallout's $135 million weekend, bringing their total to $655.8 million. Team The VOD Squad's in third place with $749 million. Team Have a Drink is in second place with $757.6 million. And lording above all in first place, it's Team Movie Party with $1,022.8 million. That's your Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of August 8, 2018.
And I love how he put that. Lording above all.
Yes.
Movie Party.
With 1.1
he said
billion.
He said 1,022 million. I was like, I like
billion.
It's not enough to have a billion. I like having a billion million. Yes, billion million. Rock on. We still have another movie coming up.
The Meg is coming up this weekend. We'll see if that can suddenly.
And sorry, W. Scott, it's one. I was totally going to use my movie pass to go watch that movie. I was super excited about it, but they won't let me. So, and then, I think, although Slender Man may be the movie that rockets Walking Drunk all the way to the top.
Who knows? You never know.
With like $800 million.
It could be that good. It could be
the most profitable movie of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slender Man.
But they're not. There's the man is slender, not the box office.
Now, to me, what's interesting is I'm curious how well we will keep coasting versus Crazy Rich Asians and see if who gets second place. To me, that's the race
I think Crazy Rich Asians may bring. Well, let's have a drink, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's going to make just enough to keep them out of your reach.
I think so, like 40, 50 million.
I think so. I mean, considering Mission Impossible, Fallout only made $134 million.
I know.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting year because there have been a lot of movies that have drastically underperformed expectations.
But you guys got the third best movie with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yes, we
Oh
did.
wait, no, sorry. Wait. Yeah, that is the third. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Avengers and then Incredibles, then Jurassic. So
Yeah, we picked up that one, which is good. So, which it might actually break the 10 million per dollar we spent. So, that will be one of our best, if not our best, bets we got.
I am still blown away that Ready Player One was one of the worst 5 movie values.
I know it's because I don't know
It was
why,
a
but nobody
good
saw
movie.
it.
Well, you know why? Because I liked it. Because I absolutely loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's
But
there.
you didn't read the books.
No, I didn't. That's
And
why
that's
I loved it.
The thing is that it's not a bad movie in and of itself, in my opinion. Though my wife didn't read the books and she didn't like the movie either. It just wasn't anywhere near as good as the book. It missed so many marks, and that's
why
understandable but problematic.
That's why I have the rule: I never watch a movie that I've read the book, because it is never good. I walked out of the Lost World, the second, or was that second or third Jurassic Park? Because it's the second book. I had read the book,
Right.
and then the movie came out, and I went, "Oh, hey, cool! I'm going to watch that." There was only one scene in that movie that actually took place in the book. Everything else is I don't know how they're calling this. The characters are technically the same, but
Right.
no. But that's also, I think, that's why I love Solo, because I don't have any kind of anything in the game. Skin in the game when it comes to Star Wars. I don't particularly enjoy Star Wars, but
It's in the game as far as the movie draft goes. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a major letdown. There, we should have made $2 billion this time.
Yeah,
but
Solo should have done 600 million. I'm floored by the fact that it didn't at least come close to Rogue One numbers. It astounds me.
But we're getting to that point where there's been enough Star Wars stuff in such a short period of time that people are starting to get the fatigue and the over criticism. When people were starved, they went out in droves to see, what was it, Awakens?
Force Awakens,
7? Yeah. And because it'd been 10 years?
Yeah. It had. And the same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think. I mean, that movie also, I think, was obviously not literally, but I would say it's an objectively good movie.
Sure.
I can't imagine anybody not liking that movie. But it didn't do well. It did rather poorly. And that just it amazes me. But you're right. I think that there's a lot of fatigue going on with these universes where, Marvel has released 2 movies a year basically for the last 3 or 4 years, and
it was 4 this last year.
Yeah,
you had Ragnarok, you had Thor in November or October, November. You had the Panther guy.
Mm-hmm.
You had Avengers, and then you had Ant-Man. Yeah,
I guess you're right. 4 within 1 year. So,
and then, and then there was another movie that was basically this time last year. So you could almost say 5, but
yeah. So I get that, but for me, I'm still loving them. They're amazing movies. Why wouldn't you just want to keep watching? Everybody, keep going to movies. Stop it.
Yeah,
stop it.
Especially when the VOD Squad owns the
that's right.
In the draft.
Especially if I own it in my movie draft. Go see it.
We don't have any Marvel movies in our draft this year.
The funny thing is, you want to know a secret?
What?
There were 3 movies that I absolutely wanted going into the draft. One was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
Ready Player One,
Yeah.
and then there was another movie that was a flop. So the three movies that I absolutely wanted that I didn't get were like some of the worst.
Yep.
And then
Deals.
I don't remember what the third one was. Oh, I got Blockers. I figured
You got
Blockers would
Blockers.
be good for 50 mil. I got that one. So we got that one, and it overperformed and got 60. So
Cool.
all right, rock on. All right. Well, you know what? Last week we talked about, as a team, we were gonna put in some effort and we're gonna try out the Philo. Did anybody do it?
So before we actually tried this out, I had signed up for the free trial for Philo because we had just moved and we were trying to get things set up. And I was attempting very, very quickly to get my Xfinity X1 box plugged in so I could record a show for my son. He wanted to watch Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards, which he loves watching. But we said, okay, you can watch it after dinner. We'll record it for you. And I could not get it up and running. So I just turned to my phone, went to Philo, and said, sign me up. I put in my phone number and said, sure, you're good. No problem. Here you go. Good to go.
Oh, so you already have it.
I have since let it lapse. I need to go back in there and just say, okay, turn it back on. And just because I haven't had the thought of it, doing it. But yeah, we tried it out for that week, and mostly my son used it, and no complaints.
Yeah. We don't need to get too far into the weeds just yet. I was just curious if everybody's.
I have not gotten to it. I've watched an abundance of stuff, and just the thought of I haven't even thought about it. I've been too preoccupied with watching what I've been watching. I will definitely get to it this week.
We'll talk about this in the post show because and it was an idea that I had brought up before that I forgot about. I forgot to mention last week, but because there are concurrent streams allowed, so yeah, we'll talk about that. So yeah, hopefully starting next week. I mean, how are we going to do a 30-day trial if we're already a week in? I mean, I've been using it because I used a new email address to start another trial.
We can do a time shifted. It doesn't have to be concurrent, or I can just do a 21-day trial.
Well, we don't need to do a trial, but yeah, we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we should really quickly get into some. Haha. All right, guys. I already kind of gave my rant about the movie pass.
Okay.
So, what do you got?
So, guess what, guys?
You don't like your house and you want to move back to your apartment?
No.
Oh.
Any other guesses? No.
Are you the first pregnant male in the history of?
No, that's Arnold
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Since Arnold.
So okay. Well, no, I'm not. So that's
Okay, I give up.
okay. We have officially cut the cord.
Moving makes that easy.
Well, when we had to plug in that box and it didn't work downstairs for my son kind of thing, after many a days of trying things out with various places, we found out that there's basically like one or two spots in the whole house where the cable's actually hooked up and nowhere where we want it to be. So we called up the company and said, hey, we're technically new customers because we're in our house here. And they said, hey, we will go ahead and make one of those ports work for you. We will call you tomorrow to let you to come out to your house and make one of those ports work so you can have our service. That'll be absolutely free. They never called.
Of course not.
Same time, I talked to my wife and said, okay. So where we were living, where we were getting, as part of our rent, basic cable, which means that what we paid for through Comcast was above and beyond And so there was a pretty significant discount we got for what we got in order to watch what we want to watch on there. So we were staying with the Xfinity because it was cost effective for us, and we liked it. It was a decent service, and we could give us everything we wanted on the one big TV, and we could watch we didn't only have one of the X1 boxes. But then since we've been without, my wife has been using all the other services like the YouTube TV and the watching things on Hulu and watching things on Netflix, and she's been watching stuff on her Amazon Prime, and we talked about it, and she's like, yeah, we don't need it. Okay. So we were talking about, we need to return it, and okay, was this going to be a big problem? There's going to be all kinds of trouble. I tried calling him. I'm sorry, our offices are closed right now. I was like, come on, you guys are millionaires. You can afford 24-hour phone service, don't you? Anyways, we said, okay, we just got to go to send this in. You go this way. I'll grab my wife was the primary on the account. She said, I'll take the equipment, and so I had to run upstairs and gather up all the equipment and put it in a bag for her. It was the original Xfinity bag they gave us, and hand it back to them. And the most amazing thing happened. They didn't argue. They just said, okay, here you go.
Oh yeah, those people, they have no skin in the game. They're just paid to man that thing, and they take it.
Yeah, so now I'm on an internet-only plan. We apparently my feed seems to be working okay, so they haven't cut too much of my internet, and so yeah, we have officially cut the cord. It's kind of feels nice. Yes.
All right.
Congratulations.
Also, the $200 bill that we were looking at was yeah, we were pretty happy to get rid of that.
Yeah, that's
well. I say
now it's just down to 70 or 80, depending on whether.
But when I add up all of the services I'm actually subscribed to, I don't do that for a reason. But
that's me. Basically, I have not had the chance to do anything else other than pack and clean and play some video games and fall asleep in my chair until 4 o'clock in the morning, and then having to get up and do. It's been kind of crazy here. So,
all right,
and
yeah. Well, that's cool. That's congratulations. I have been watching a lot of stuff because for a week and a half I was home alone. My family was still in Idaho. I was bachelor in it. So I got to watch all of the stuff that my wife hates, and that was fun. I checked out, watched some more of the, the stuff I was watching, Arrow, Flash, that kind of stuff. Then I realized, wait a minute, I can watch these anytime. Winona Earp is a show my wife probably wouldn't like. So I checked it out. It was actually really good. I'm only about 4 or 5 episodes in. But that's been good so far. I checked out iZombie, another one my wife showed no interest in. I'm about 4 episodes into that. Liked it a lot.
It gets better, much better.
Yeah. Then I got the real-time sync. My coworkers convinced me to, speaking of books, watching something based on a book. I read the first 4.5 books of Game of Thrones, Song of Fire and Ice, and got tired of reading, so I didn't even finish the 4th book, or didn't finish the 5th book. But I have watched now the first 3 full seasons of Game of Thrones, and every episode gets better, and I like it. It is really good. I understand why people are excited about it, and making why it's such a big deal. It is a really good show. So yeah, that's what I'm watching. Also, as a side note, watching this and the news that I found out this week about that wasn't for some reason mentioned by us, Wheel of Time has a pilot episode picked up by, I don't remember, it was Amazon or what, but pilot episode, the Wheel of Time, not Wheels Keep on Burning, but the Wheel of Time, or turning, Wheels Keep on Turning.
No, it's it's Proud Mary that keeps on burning, not the wheel in the sky that keeps on turning.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I'm also really super excited about that. Watching the quality of fantasy TV that was made for Game of Thrones, if that could come to the Wheel of Time world, that would be unbelievable. I'm honestly enjoying the shows way more than I did the books. I liked the first couple of books, and the third book was okay. The fourth book I had to slog through, and I couldn't even make it through the fifth book. But the shows just keep getting better and better and better. So, yeah. If you like fantasy, you like this kind of stuff, it's definitely good.
Rock on.
I understand that the sex position has gotten a little less.
Yeah, I mean that
as the
definitely.
show goes on.
As every episode goes, it seems to be less and less relevant, which is also kind of true of the book. Though he doesn't. I think he does a little bit more consistency through the books. It's
what does that have to do with the sex position?
No, it's the term people have used to of how people are, how George R.R. Martin has gotten people to pay attention, is that there's a lot of sex and at the same time there's a lot of exposition.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So putting the two words together is exposition.
It's like, wait.
Well, there's a lot less sex in the later shows. Exactly. It gets cleaner. I mean, it's still.
It's
so
still
you're saying I can now
TVMA
let my children
only
watch
because they don't offer R on TV, right? What'd you say?
I said, so you're saying like the last season forward, I can let my children watch?
I haven't gotten that far yet, so I don't know, but I wouldn't watch the first few seasons with kids.
There were times I didn't even think I should be letting me watch. So no, my kids are not going to be watching.
Yeah, the first season especially was pretty raunchy. I watched that a long time ago, and that was enough that I kind of stopped watching. But the second season's a little better. The third season actually is really good.
Right. Okay. See, I still can't get past Sarah Connor like ruling a like kingdom. So for those of you that remember Sarah Connor Chronicles on Fox, Cersei, Lena Headey, she was Sarah Connor, so she will always be Sarah Connor to me. So I see a blonde Sarah Connor like saying off with their heads, and it's just weird. But, all right. Well, hey, we should probably wrap this up. Those of you that were watching live, don't forget there are titles to vote for if you go over to tvs.showbot.tv. If someone wants to hit bang remind there in the chat. Yeah, stick around after. We'll be doing a little bit of after show. We'll figure out, vote on some titles, make a decision. For those of you that aren't watching live, we are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. Some of our episodes you can find on YouTube. Maybe eventually there will be all of them. That's another issue. But also, this weekend is the August movie party. We will be watching Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. Apparently, I did not know, but Gary Busey is Ginger Dead Man. So that movie just became a hell of a lot better.
Insert joke about he didn't need makeup.
Yeah. And then we will be capping that off with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Classic from the 80s. I remember when that was in the theater, and I asked my parents if I could see it, and they said no. And that was all there was to it. So I have never actually seen that movie. I forgot I wanted to see it until somebody mentioned it. So we will be watching that Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. Or actually, no, I think we're doing 10 p.m. Central this week. So 10 p.m. Central. I'm sorry about that. But all the info is out at movieparty.net. Or you can follow us at DC Movie Party on Twitter. But yeah, just go to movieparty.net. It's a lot easier. And stick around for after show. That being said, I think that's it. Thanks everybody who came out. Reminder, this is the time of year where those Twitch Prime free subscriptions renew. If you've got one of those free Prime goodies that you can give, and you haven't given it to anybody else, we are more than happy to take those off your hands. Just hit that subscribe button up at the top.
Bezos' money.
And yeah, if you want to, Jeff, we'll take Jeff Bezos's crumbs.
Here's $5.
Yeah. Well, it's actually $2.50 because they keep $2.50, so they're actually only giving us. But that's a whole nother thing. We'll take his crumbs. We're not too proud. But yeah, guys, thank you so much, everybody out there. Thank you. Bye.
Later.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.